I watched Constantine when I was younger. I loved the story. I love Keanu Reeves. I knew that there was a game made about the movie, and I remember seeing it in stores and wishing that I could play it, but I was just a little kid at the time, and I knew I would not be allowed to play it anytime soon. And then consoles advanced, games improved, and I just sort of stopped thinking about it. And it remained on my radar for a couple years, but I was way too busy getting sweaty in Call of Duty lobbies to really think about older titles anymore, so I never got the chance to play it. So without further ado, I am Heavy Dark, and I'm going to be reviewing Constantine for the PlayStation 2, and we can see if it holds up or it's just another game that should remain in the past.
Hennessy, demons just attacked me right out in the open.
They don't like you, John. How many of you deported back to hell?
Not some angry half-breeds. Full-fledged demons. Here.
You know demons are supposed to stay in hell. Otherwise, well, that would be breaking the rules.
First, I want to say I did appreciate this game. I think from a fun standpoint, it was lacking. The puzzles were awesome. Not too complex to where you had to look them up online, but hard enough to feel like I actually accomplished something when I figured them out. I think that was the most enjoyable part of the game, and keep in mind, this is an action horror game, and my favorite parts are the puzzle elements. And I'm not gonna lie, there was one enemy that I had to look up how to damage because unless you use a certain item on him, he's invincible. Atmospherically, the game is okay. There are plenty, and I mean plenty, of dark spots, but the scares are pretty obvious. You'll come into a room, you find a bunch of dead bodies, you go to the next room, and when you return to the original room, the bodies all get possessed, and you have to defeat all the possessed corpses. And the enemies are pretty interesting, and there's a decent amount of variation. The bosses are pretty straightforward, nothing groundbreaking or super unique. If anything, they're just annoying. I feel a lot of the enjoyment comes from the storyline and the cutscenes, but that's enough praise. Let's get to the gameplay and what I feel is going to be the downfall of a lot of these older titles.
Relax, put them down. You need our help here. John, you look like crap.
Constantine is a third-person shooter horror game that has you using various unique guns and spells to defeat enemies from hell and prevent the apocalypse. A cool, unique element of the game is that you have to traverse to hell and back through various portals, and hell is a mirror image of the regular world, just broken down, destroyed, and on fire. The guns that you're given include holy handguns, dragon breath flamethrowers, a crucifix shotgun, and a machine gun that shoots blessed nails, among others. You are also given spells and incantations that can damage or debuff enemies and give yourself protection. These spells are activated during combat in real time, and when you do it, it slows time down around you and gives you a quick time event. During the time, you are prompted to press certain buttons in a certain order in order to cast a spell. If enemies are too close and you take damage, or you press the wrong sequence of buttons, then the spell is cancelled. There's also incantation spots where you can find a permanent buff to your health and spellcasting abilities, along with collectible cards throughout the levels. You are also given night vision, and it's the most annoying part of this game because the game is just too dark. At first I thought it was my TV or the settings, but I set the brightness to max. It's just the game. They want you to use the night vision ability a lot during the game, and the noise it makes is like a 3-second loop that just gets super annoying super fast. Just listen to this. So if you're easily annoyed with repetitive sounds like I am, then this is going to get under your skin real quick. The bosses in this game are not super easy per se, but only because the game lags so bad and drops frames so low that your aim is just all over the place. This is a common problem with games with, quote, graphically intense gameplay. They look nice standing still, but bog down at the first explosion. Another thing holding back the game is the first spell that casts lightning is just overpowered, and I would just use it over and over again when I was surrounded by enemies, but the controls are so slow that I can't turn around fast enough to actually shoot what's around me, so I kind of feel like I have to cheese the game in certain parts in order to not die over and over again. So the gameplay overall is rough. The sluggish controls and the low frame rate just make the experience annoying most of the time, but I can honestly say it's playable, maybe even enjoyable to some, but I mostly found it annoying.
Who are you?
What is the game about? Well, John Constantine is somebody who has been fighting against the forces of evil for a long time, and he notices that there's a bunch of demons that are attacking humans in the real world, which is unusual for the most part. The separation from Earth and Hell has it to where the demons need to possess someone in order to affect the real world. So a guy named Beeman and Father Hennessy all try to stop the end of the world when they find out that the forces of hell are trying to bring the Antichrist to Earth in order to rule the world. There's a bunch of other plot points that you find out over the course of the game, but that's the main one. It's interesting that they tie some pretty cool lore to the story. I think that the voice acting is pretty good for the time. It can be a little goofy if you're coming from modern gaming and seeing the mouths don't line up with what they're saying, or some objects are clipping through each other, but it's a PlayStation 2 game. It's running on less RAM than most calculators, and I'm pretty sure calculators don't even have RAM. But even so, it's still not a lot. So should you buy this game? My answer is maybe. The game is fun yet frustratingly laggy, to the point where you want to slam your face into a brick wall. But it does have enough redeemable qualities that you might consider checking it out. It's weird, because I didn't have a lot of fun playing it, but I am glad that I did, if that makes sense. Because the game is maybe $20, but I found a ton for less than that, and some as low as $13. I think you can squeeze $13 worth of fun out of this game. It took me about 10 hours, or maybe a little bit more, to complete, and if you like this type of game, then yeah, check it out. Just know what you're getting into, as this is just another title that runs poorly on the native hardware. So that's my review on Constantine for the PlayStation 2. I hope you enjoyed. I will be posting new games soon, so be on the lookout for that. If you have any recommendations, I will definitely take them into consideration for what I review next. I'm trying to keep it PlayStation 2 for now, but I do plan on doing shorter reviews for older systems. Anyway, you can follow me on YouTube or on Instagram at Heavy Dark Games to see what I've added to my collection, or just see what my dog's up to. So until next time, I'm Heavy Dark, and I'm out.